Good evening, everyone. My name is Lakeisha Williams. I am the founder and lead publisher of the Vision to Fruition Publishing House. And tonight we have an exciting interview for you all. If you are joining this broadcast live or otherwise, I ask you to please share this broadcast. We're going to talk about an awesome project on tonight. I have an awesome person with me on tonight that I had the pleasure of working with on this project, and I am just super excited to be interviewing him, to have a chance to just sit down and have a conversation with him about this amazing project. Again, if you're either watching this live with us or you will be watching the replay when it broadcasts, then please share it with a friend. We're going to talk about some amazing information, some amazing content tonight. The other thing that I would like for you to do is to go over to Amazon.com. I'm going to be dropping the link for you guys in just a moment for you to go and purchase a copy of this book. We would like to help our special guest tonight to reach Amazon bestseller status. So I'm going to grab the link really quickly. I am going to drop it into the chat across uh, Facebook, across YouTube. You will be able to purchase your copy as we have this interview. Again, share this broadcast with your family, with your friends, with your social media platforms, and be sure to tune in, comment, ask questions. I can see your comments in the chat, so please ask questions and join in. So tonight, without further ado, I would like to bring on for you Dr. Gabriel McCurtis. He is the author of Coming from Behind. It's the mindset of overcoming adversity, and we are super excited to have him. So please help me welcome him to the stage. Good
God bless you.
evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well also. It's raining over here in sunny California.
Absolutely. Isn't that amazing that we can use technology to have an interview where I'm here on the East Coast and you're there on the West Coast, and we can come together and have this broadcast?
Amen. I call you Sister Lakeisha, and amen because not only am I an author, but I'm a bishop in a church situation, and we call each other brothers and sisters. So those most of my audience uh, probably don't know that. So if I call you sister or say Sister Lakeisha, you know why I'm saying it.
Absolutely, no problem at all. So we're just going to jump right in. You've already started. As a matter of fact, I was going to say, tell us a little bit about yourself so that the audience can get to know the man behind this project.
I'm 66 the other day. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. I met her long before high school. We've been married 46 years. Her name is Deborah Patterson McCurtis. Have 7 grandchildren. My oldest is 24. My youngest is about 7. And I have a newborn, a great grandchild that's just a few weeks old. So that's a little bit about me. They call me Bishop Two Doc. They call me Bishop Two Docs because I'm an ordained bishop in the Church of God in Christ, and I have 2 earned doctorate degrees.
Awesome. What are your doctorate degrees? What are the degrees in?
I have a degree in education. I'm a retired superintendent of schools. I spent nearly 40 years in the education system. I was 10 years as an elementary school teacher, 15 years as a site principal, in the last 8 years of my career as superintendent of schools. My second doctorate, Southeastern University in Florida, a doctorate in business. So I came from the School of Genetide, School of Business and Entrepreneurship. So those are my 2 doctorates.
Awesome, awesome. So we are here tonight to discuss coming from behind, the
Mhm.
mindset of overcoming adversity. First of all, I'd like to say that I was in love with the title. Number
Mhm.
one, number two, um, in high school, I was on the track team, And so you all will find out in just a moment why I'm sharing that with him. I was not a runner, but we
Mhm.
all practiced together. I did shot put and I did discus. So
Yeah,
we all, of course, practiced together until a point where we went off with our individual coaches to practice specifically. But so that brought a smile to my face when I found out kind of the analogy and the symbolism that you used
yeah.
in using track as well. So tell us a little bit about this book, Coming from Behind. Um, the mindset of overcoming adversity.
The idea of the book, remember, I lived the experience, but I'll tell you how the book derived. As I was sitting in my last doctoral class, one of my teachers came and speak. One of my professors, they were talking about the people that were writing dissertations and writing their books, and they started asking everybody what were they going to do their topics on. And Dr. Joshua Henson from South Ethern. How you doing, Doc? God be with you, and also Dr. Hawkins. God be with you. Well, in the class, I started thinking about it, and so when Dr. When I was asked the question, I said, "Well, I have a scenario, and I thought about this track meet that I was in, and I'll go into the track meet in the book a little later, but um, the race had 10 hurdles in it, and each hurdle represented some kind of thing that I had to overcome. So Dr. Hansen said, he said, well, Gabriel, he said, there's 10 hurdles, there's 10 chapters in your book. Each chapter can represent a hurdle. Go in and discuss it, and that's where I got the idea. And so then from there, I went ahead and wrote the book, and it became. This was actually. Let me explain it to you. Since I already had an earned doctorate, I've already done a dissertation. I didn't want to do two dissertations. I said I wanted to write a book. So this book is a dissertation. It's well researched, the whole 9 yards, but it's done in such a way that it's there to help people. So that's really how I came about writing the book.
Absolutely. So I find that a lot of doctoral students actually end up publishing their dissertation because they've done the research. It's
Mhm,
well written, and
mhm.
it's something that you didn't want to share with the world and on a larger platform. So I commend you on and not only writing your dissertation, but transforming it into a book, which was a great process to be a part of. So.
Thank you.
Um, I love the analogy. I love that it's from your lived experience. Like it's you experienced it. You had a front row
Mhm,
seat. You were there for the whole thing. So don't give away too much because what we want
mhm.
them to do is follow that link that I dropped in the chat box and go and
Yeah,
purchase a copy for yourself so you can get the whole
absolutely.
story and read all about the 10 hurdles and all the little nuggets that he gives in the book. They're awesome. And you need them in your life. However, I want you to um, as you're led to elaborate just a little bit on some of the content in the book. And if you want to give one little nugget away, you can. But we want them to go and purchase a copy of the book. So expand just a little bit and tie the two in together because they're still kind of hanging there. Like, okay, so how does track and running tie into this project? So talk about that a little bit.
The book is a story. In my senior year of high school, I've always been an elite hurdler. I was always the best at whatever I did. And I strive to always be the best in what I do. And so I had prepared for this race, and I was ready to run the race. I knew I was going to win the race. However, when I got over the first two hurdles, I was interfered by the hurdler next to me, not on purpose, but accidentally, and it threw me behind, and the whole track was gone. Everybody was ahead of me, My wife was my girlfriend at that time, and she was in the stands looking at me, and I didn't want to be embarrassed. I was the captain of the team, the whole 9 yards. And so it was the things that went on in my head, what I had to tell myself, the hope that I had to have, and things that caused me to come from behind to win that race, to set a school record. And remember, I'm much older than the young athletes, so we ran on dirt, and we had these long spikes. When I was the spikes now are very short. We had these long spikes that would dig in dirt, and I went and set a school record, set a league record. And so that's why the book is entitled Coming from Behind: The Mindset of Overcoming Adversity. I was going to title it uh, Champions Can Come From Behind, but I had two people that worked with me on both my dissertations and my book. It was Dr. David Gomez and Dr. Julius Steele. And as they were talking to me, I revised my title and I put it Coming from Behind: The Mindset of Adversity. Thank you, Julius, and thank you, David, for your advice and helping me along with this book. So, Sister Keisha, I didn't go into much of the book so they can buy it, but that's what led to the book.
Awesome. That was great. That was just enough for them to chew on and pique their interest. And two things that I want to point out that he just shared. One was he said, "I came from behind and I won the race."
Mhm.
That is amazing. I watched there's a YouTube video, or there's a couple of them where it shows runners and hurdlers who either trip and fall or like you said were interfered with, not intentionally, and they come back and they get up and you see them rally
Yes.
to come back, and a lot of them come back and win the race. It's amazing to me the mental fortitude that you have to have. Like you said, the things that went through your mind, not only for yourself, but also for your school, and then for a lot of us when we have people watching. And you talk about that in the book,
Mhm.
the people who are watching from the stands. And so you have to, it's a lot of things happening. So I wanted to point that out and say that he not only got up, he not only came back, but he also won. And did you say you won, you set some records as well?
I set some records, and always in the back of your mind, you would have said, how would I have done if I wasn't interfered with? But um, reality is that's not what happened. I was interfered with. I did come from behind. I broke those records. I find that I do much better in life when I'm the underdog. I find that that is just me. In other words, when you tell me, Gabe, you can't do it, I'm saying to myself, you don't tell me what I can do and what I can't do. And so that really gives me the impetus to really do more and run harder. And I think that's what the book is. Like I said, Sister Lakeisha, I didn't really get into the details of the book, but that really is that's giving them enough to want to cause their curiosity to say, let's buy this book and find out what how that race went and what did he do to win the race.
Absolutely, absolutely. The second thing that you said that jumped out to me as we're talking about this amazing project is, as you were finishing, it was important not only then, during the race you had people supporting you and cheering you on, but even now in this season of life, as you were finishing your dissertation, you spoke about two people who essentially were cheering you on, or who essentially, although it was their job, they still gave you insight and they gave you direction. And that's important as well, especially when overcoming adversity. The subtitle is The Mindset of Overcoming Adversity. And so I think that was important for us to have people around us that not only support us, but that are cheering us on and that will lead us and direct us in the right direction. And so I appreciate you sharing that, and sharing just enough. So we want to take a moment and pause and give you a chance to go over to the link that was dropped in the chat, purchase a copy of the book. Come back and let us know that you purchased a copy. Just drop it in the chat, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're watching on Facebook. We will see the comments come through. We will be sure to shout you out as you purchase your copy, and thank you for doing that. You don't even have to leave the stream. You can just open up another tab on your computer or on your phone, follow the link to Amazon, purchase a copy of the ebook, which is on sale right now for $2.99. Depending on where you're living, that's less than a gallon of gas. I recently took a trip to Hawaii and the gas was $4.99 there. So it's less than a tank than a gallon of gas. So go over, purchase a copy of the ebook for $2.99. Come back and let us know. So, Dr. McCurtis, why did you choose now to bring this book to fruition, or to bring this book to the masses? Was there a particular time frame that you had in mind, or was it just God led? Talk a little bit about that, if you will.
When I went through Southeastern University, the two role models that I had, although I had other teachers, Jenny Carter, she was the Dr. Jenny Carter. She was actually the dean, if I'm not mistaken, of the school. And there were other teachers that I had that I don't, not calling all the names right now because I'm on the spot and I just don't remember all the names. But Dr. Hawkins and Dr. Henson were the two professors that really impacted me the most. Dr. Hawkins had written a book, and he had used that book as it was part of when we had a class of his, it was part of one of our required readings. And then Dr. Henson wrote many books. And so as I'm dealing with these go-getters, they're two go-getters. When you talk to them, it's not ready, aim, fire. It's ready, fire, aim. When they're talking to you, they're not looking for you to just talk loud and say nothing. And I'm talking colloquially. They want you to get on board and do something. So I had two of these doctors hot on my tail, and they're saying is you're going to get it and you're going to get it done. And so I didn't want to disappoint them. I highly respect them. And just because I forgot your name at SCU, it's just that right now I'm trying to think on my feet and I'm not remembering all those names. But Dr. Henson and Dr. Hawkins, those were two names that I remember, and Dr. Carter there. And that's what made me get it done.
So they essentially lit a fire, and you reacted to it and acted accordingly to write this book.
Well, Sister Lakeisha, let me explain my relationship with Dr. Henson. Dr. Henson, um, uh, this is my first book, but I wrote a chapter book. We did, it was called Christian Followership. And Dr. Henson took the best of the writings that had been turned into him, and mine was, I believe, chapter 2 in the book. And I saw his personality, and he's the type, he doesn't play. Let's get to work and let's get it done now. And because I had worked with him in that project, and I had done a chapter in his book, I knew that the fire was lit under me right then. And so I just did what I had to do.
Absolutely. It's always good to have those people around, and in the different arenas where we find ourselves, whether it's school, work, church, even in our personal lives and at home.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about just that. So we know, as you mentioned, your wife then was your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about when you brought this to her and you said, honey, I want to write a book about this. What was her input, or what was her feedback to you?
I heard her. She works as a pharmacy technician at a local hospital, and someone asked her about the book. Oh, Deborah, have you read the book? She said, read it. I lived it. So She lived it as my girlfriend. She's lived it as my wife. She's lived it over the score of years. I just told you about my doctorate degrees. I'm a product of the UC system. I graduated from UC Riverside. She was with me. I got my BA from UC Riverside, my master's, my teaching credential, and I got my administrative services credential. So I was at the foundation stage back then of a PhD. I didn't move forward then. She's been with me from day one. So she knows the book. She absolutely knows Gabriel's going to do it. She always tells me, you're going to do whatever you want to do. So she just steps aside and let me do it. So she's lived it. And so, but she's proud of her husband.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely, as she should be. And I know it's probably been um, just as an amazing experience and journey
Mhm.
from high school till now. You know, and that's there's a lot of experience, a lot of memories. Probably some things that didn't make the book, but as she lived it, you
Yes.
know, and other people now read it, then I'm sure she can definitely fill in some gaps for those people. So
Cool.
again, this is an amazing project. I absolutely loved everything about it. I love reading it the way it was laid out. Yes, this is a shameless plug for this amazing project, and I think that you should go over to Amazon and grab a copy. Not just because we want to see this project on the Amazon bestsellers list, but because this book can help you.
Yes.
This book can transform your mindset and your outlook on adversity, and how you deal with difficult situations. Which leads us into our next question that I have for you. Who would you say this book is for? Who did you have in mind when writing this book?
Well, my audience is always a professional audience. My the avatar that I'm looking at is someone that is a professional, that's well trained. So when I'm talking about coming from behind, I'm not talking about someone that's just wasted their time and uh, and they're screaming and yelling foul. And no, these are people that are highly prepared, but something happened in the course of time that caused them to fall behind. Case in point, you had asked me earlier about me living out this book, but many people don't know this. I just had, within the last 5 years, I've had three major back surgeries, culminating in a 5 level fusion. So I got metal, enough metal in me that when I walk into an airport, all the cops are going to be running my way thinking I'm carrying something. So when I started off my second doctoral journey, I was working on a DBA at a college. I'm not going to, and a DBA as a doctorate of business administration. And during the time that I was there, I had my first surgery. That was back in 2017. And when I had the surgery, the chair told me that because of my recuperation, I would have to set out a year before I could proceed with the cohort that I was with. So I would miss out on that cohort and I would have to go in another cohort. So now I'm talking like a preacher now. I said, the devil is a lie and his mother in law. I'm not setting out no cohort. And so in my research, I found Southeastern University had a doctoral program. Actually, they had a EDD, that's a doctorate of education, which I already had, and I was accepted in the school for the EDD program. But when they told me that I was accepted, the day that I checked, I found out that they had the PhD DSL program, and DSL is a doctorate of strategic leadership. This is organizational development, which I am a consultant and a coach. Well, Southeastern University said they had those two courses. I mean, they had those two doctorates. So I reached out to them. I was accepted. So now, while I was in uh, there again, I had a second surgery and I was able to make it through the second surgery. And I'm dealing, some of my surgeries were 12 hours long. And then I had a third surgery right before graduation. And so actually, I went through school, three major back surgeries. And I remember one day Dr. Henson told me after I turned in my manuscript, he said, Gabe, uh, when you wrote this book, when you were writing that portion of the book, he said, were you on medication? I said, yeah. He said, it looked like it. And I reread it and I said, oh, Lord have mercy. I was putting in all kind of stuff. Yeah, it looked like it, Gabe. So I had to overcome some things to get where I am today. So I'm writing to people that are professional, that's encountered some setbacks, and encourage them to pick up, dust your pants off, continue on in the race. You can make it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I wanted to, so throughout the book, the nuggets that I talked about, one set of those nuggets that are spread throughout the book is something that's called lessons learned from life's hurdles.
Mhm.
And so that's exactly what he just did. He talked about one of life's hurdles.
Mhm.
Anything physical that happens with us, whether it's surgery, some health challenge, sickness, that can become a hurdle for us. But one thing that I loved about this book was that we get all these tips and tricks, if you will. I've been calling them nuggets, tips and tricks, hurdles, trainers tips.
Mhm.
Is actually what they're called in the book. And so one of them that I would like to read that relates to what he just talked about is inadequate preparation. And
Okay.
so if you remember a couple minutes ago, he said that this book is for those of us who have had some preparation,
Yeah.
some training. So if you think about a hurdler, and I don't know if any of you all have watched YouTube videos or the Olympics, or those documentaries they make as these elite athletes are preparing. There's a lot of preparation that goes into that. It's not just that they say, okay, the Olympics is on such and such date.
Mhm.
Dr. McCurtis didn't find out that the track meet was on such and such date, and then just decide to get up that morning
Mhm.
and practice. Or there are things that go into it. And so hurdle number one is inadequate preparation. It says avoid entering your competition
Yeah.
unprepared to
Sister
compete at
Lakeisha,
your best.
can I ask you something?
Sure.
If you would just take me out, people think that I'm playing. I'm actually recuperating. So while you're reading it, to give me a chance to stand and stretch my back, would you do it that way?
Absolutely.
I need a few
Absolutely.
minutes. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, hurdle number one is inadequate preparation. And so it says avoid entering your competition unprepared to compete at your best mentally, physically, and emotionally. So that's just one life lesson that you can get in this book. And just like he just talked about, he didn't let something stop him from pursuing this degree. He found another way. And I would go as far to say, and he can chime in when he comes back, is that because he was already prepared. He was prepared mentally, emotionally, physically to overcome this hurdle that came his way. And so that's one of the important things in this that you'll gain from this book, is that sometimes I've learned that we're more prepared than we think we are. He might not have been prepared for the interference that he experienced um, all those years ago at this track meet, but he was mentally prepared. He had the mental fortitude to make some calculations in his mind, to make a quick decision and say, "I'm not going to give up and allow this to be the end of the race for me. I'm going to keep going and I'm going to rally for a comeback."
Yes.
And he did just that. He came back from behind. So talk a little bit about because the subtitle again of the book, it has the word mindset in it. And we know that mindsets don't just happen. They develop over time. So talk about um, how the subtitle relates. It says the mindset of overcoming adversity. Talk about that.
Sister Lakeisha, am I able to show anything that I have on my desktop? A picture?
Let me see. At the bottom of your screen, you should see a button that says present.
I'm going to hit it. You asked me a question.
Mhm.
I'm going to show you a real life. And so would I hit share screen?
You hit present, then you hit share screen, and then I'll be able to bring it in once you have it up.
Okay, you should see me. Um, are you able to see the screen that I have up?
Not just yet. Let me see
Okay.
if it'll pop up. It should pop up at the bottom. So I will, if you're
It,
already
it
shared.
is it is up now.
Okay. So let's see. So it's a bottom at the it's a button at the bottom that says present.
I
Um,
did. I hit that.
you hit present and then you
Mhm.
hit share screen.
I hit share screen. Yes, I did.
Okay, let's see. It did not pop up for me to bring it into the broadcast. Let's
Okay.
see.
We can work on it. I'll talk, but when you if you can get it, it's up for me,
Hmm.
and I'll keep talking. A mindset is to me it is something that causes you to behave a particular way. Some people have pessimistic mindsets where they believe that the glass is half empty. Some people have optimistic mindsets where they believe is the glass is half full. And I've always had a bulldog tenacity mindset. And you'll read in the book where that came from. But my dad was a pastor, and he was the type that would never let any obstacle get him down ever. So I always learned to just to persevere. So my mindset that I have is a mindset of perseverance. Other people have different type mindsets, and I mean there's more than one type, but I believe it's something. It's if you don't take control of your mind is just floating and wander off into space and different things. I have never done that. I have always made sure that I stayed focused and that I stayed on task, and that the things that I wanted to accomplish that I did accomplish, and I think that that's the thing that able to get you in a mindset. I'll give an example of what I mean. A mindset is um, sometimes you might be in a situation where it looks like you're going to die, but there are some people you wonder, how did this guy make it? They were on the ocean for 30 days and 30 nights, no food and no water. Something was going on up here. And that's the mindset. And that mindset says, I will until. That mindset says, I'm going to do it. So all people are not fortunate enough, but with this book, coming from behind the mindset of overcoming adversity, much as what Sister Keisha said, I'm working on giving you principles of how to maintain that mindset. We're talking about beyond just being positive, but that mindset when you face a hurdle or adversity that causes you to say, I'm going to still prevail in this situation. That's the best that I can give you right now, Sister Lakeisha. Were you able to pull up anything for me?
Actually, no. It normally when you share your screen, it pops up in the broadcast, and I can bring it in. Um, but I do not see. Let me just try to do a test really quickly.
Okay.
You as you were talking, I kept thinking about as I'm bringing this up. I'll talk through it. I kept thinking about the word mental fortitude.
Yes.
And that just kept dropping as you were talking, and it just goes to show that um, mental fortitude is something that we need and something that we utilize, especially when we come up against adversity.
Yes.
When we find ourselves in these situations, we have to have mental fortitude already established. And something that's connected to mental fortitude is there it is, it popped up. Something that's connected to mental fortitude is having a clear mind,
Yes.
and discipline. And I think discipline is a word that takes us right back to what we've been talking about. And it's a part of the premise of this book is you had the discipline prior to the race to have the mental fortitude to recover during the race and actually come back.
Yes.
So I'm going to pull up your screen here, and you can. So actually see your email open there. I don't think that that's what we want to share. Um,
No, there's a picture. I'm seeing the picture. Let me go out here. Um, I'm going to close down that. Do you see the picture? If not, I'll go back one more time. There's a picture of actually me running over the hurdles, and if you and I wanted everybody to see the look that's on my face. This is actually a picture from the race. One of the men from the Star Free Press, the local. What I'm going to do one more time as I'm talking to you, I'm going back in and seeing if I can get this.
Absolutely. So as you're
Okay,
sharing, when you click share,
yeah,
you want to select window, and then the window that you see the picture in, click that one.
okay. Right now, I see us in the window, but that is the window. And let's see if I can fix it. Are you able to see it, or do you still see us?
I see us.
Okay, so then what I got to do is I just need to go back and I need to take us down and keep asking me questions. I can answer you while I'm doing
Absolutely.
this. Hmm.
Absolutely. So I really love that. And like I said, I love the premise of the book and how it just speaks to this mental fortitude. And so another tip that was in the book is another thing that I really liked about the book was these trainers tips.
Yeah.
And we know all athletes have trainers. If you're a boxer, if you're a runner, you are training for a certain thing, a certain event, um, you know, anything like that. And I always love to use the example of Olympians because Olympians don't just train for a month. Olympians train from Olympics to Olympics, and we know the Olympics occur every 4 years, right?
Yes.
And
Hmm.
so during those 4 years, they're training. 4 years is a long time.
Yes.
It's not just that they train the year before the Olympics. When the Olympics ends, they start their training again. They may take off a week or two, and have a recovery period, but they train from Olympic date to Olympic date. And one thing that I enjoyed about your trainers tips is that it just gave us um, some tips that we can apply to our lives. They're very applicable. And one that I really liked is number 3: to overcome adversity, you must maintain a positive outlook and remain in the game. So when these athletes are training,
Hmm.
they have a positive outlook. They probably have affirmations. They have people encouraging them to say, "You're going to bring home the gold. You're going to bring home the gold." And so that's something that we have to remember and think about. And so, what do you remember what you said to yourself when this incident happened?
The thing that I said to myself when this incident happened, and I may have to get this picture up another way. I think I could just, I have an iPad next to me. I'll just go on my iPad and I can show it. The thing that I said to myself, um, running track, a track race is very ballistic. And when you say ballistic, it's very quick. It's like a bullet going off as fast. So you really don't have a chance to think. And you had said earlier about me training very hard. I was trained to be interfered with. So I was trained, but normally when you're interfered with, it doesn't happen one after another. Normally, if you get interfered with, it's one time in a race, but this was twice, and I was spiked. And so I'd already been trained, but then my internal dialogue, I had to start talking to myself. And in the book, I talked about hope. If you lose hope, you will lose the race and you will lose out in life. I did not give up hope. And so long as there is a glimmer of hope, that's why people can, as I said, can be out at sea for 30 days and still make it because didn't give up hope. So that internal dialogue, that's the kind of things that a champion develops. And that's where those affirmations came from, Sister Lakeisha.
Absolutely, and I love the acronym that I'm sorry, the example that you used about being out at sea.
Mhm.
And I actually found a graphic that I'm going to talk through to give you a moment to get your picture
Please.
set up. And so I'm going to share the screen and just I'm going to take you out for a second and give you a moment to get that shared.
Um,
Okay, and then I'm going to bring this in and talk a little bit about this mental toughness, this mental fortitude, this mindset that's attached to overcoming adversity. And so, what I love is that it's the 4 C's of mental toughness, which speaks to the mindset that you have to have, and actually what Dr. McCurtis just talked about. He just talked about challenge, but control is self worth, and having that control and knowing that you've trained and you're good at what you're doing. Whether you're in the business arena, whether you're in the athletic arena, you know that to a certain extent you're good at what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You've been here before. It's that commitment, that tenacity, and that stickability. You have endured your training. You have endured those long days. If you're a football player, those 2-a-days. I love football. I especially love college football and JUCO. And so having that commitment to what you're doing. And so Dr. McCurtis was committed to being this trained athlete, that he put in the time, he put in the effort to arrive at this place where he found himself. And not only that, but going into the 3rd C is he was met with a challenge early in the race. And like he said, oftentimes these things are ballistic. They happen really fast. The time goes really quickly. And so you find yourself where you've trained for weeks. And then you find yourself in a place where it can happen in a matter of seconds. So he was interfered with early in the race. He found himself being challenged, but he saw this challenge as an opportunity and not a threat. And by doing so, he was able to overcome this challenge. Why? Because he had the mental fortitude, he had the mental toughness, he had the attitude and the mindset that said, quickly, this happened, this all happened very quickly. Um, I was interfered with. What am I going to do now? He didn't have time to stop and sulk. He didn't have time to stop and rest, or he had to make quick mental decisions. And in doing so, he was able to come back and win the race. And that speaks to our last C of mental toughness, and that's confidence. It's competence and social confidence in the face of adversity. He had confidence in his training. He had confidence in himself. He had confidence to know that he was capable and able to still win the race. Now, earlier on, he said, he made a comment. And in that comment, he said that what would have happened if he wasn't interfered with? We don't know. maybe he would have still won the race. Maybe he still would have broke a school record. And I see you have it up. I'm going to bring you back in a second, Dr. McCurtis. Maybe, but we don't live in the land of maybes. We live in the land of knowing that we serve a God. I'm going to put this hat on for a second. We serve a God who already knew what was going to happen. He knew that day when he stepped foot on that track that that Dr. McCurtis was going to be interfered with. And I would venture to say, with most stories, it wasn't for him that day, but it was for you all today who are going to go and purchase a copy of this book and read this story. So I'm going to bring Dr. McCurtis back in, but just before I do, I want to encourage you to again follow that link that was posted. Go and purchase a copy of the ebook for $2.99. And we're going to continue our conversation while you go and purchase that copy of the book. And I'm going to bring Dr. McCurtis back in.
Well, Sister Keisha, while you're talking, I have gotten, you may not, but I've got friends that let me know that they've purchased copies. I have James Williams Jr. I have Carmel purchase a book. I have so James and Carmel, and then I have Sister Deborah Harrison and her husband purchased a book. So I'm getting things on my end here that you may not see, but they purchased a book. This is actually a picture. This is me in real life. That's the race I wrote about. I came from in back of the pack. Remember, this guy that I just beat from Santa Barbara, Dos Pueblos High School, Santa Barbara High School, they were out in front. They never beat me ever, but they were out in front. And so the photographer from the Star Free Press took this picture. This is when I caught that pack. And if you could see that grimacing look on my face, if it's close enough, I was not going to lose, period. And so that was about hurdle number 6 that I caught up. And so I wanted you to see that's what that tenacity is like, saying, no, buddy, you better get up early in the morning to try to beat Gabriel, because Gabriel ain't giving it up that easily. And I said ain't. I know I'm not supposed to say ain't, but I did. So that's that grimacing look, the bulldog tenacity, where I got a bone in my mouth and I'm like a bulldog and I'm not going to let it go. So Sister Keisha, you know I was serious.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. And trainer's tip number 10 says, never allow someone to take the lead you once had without putting up a fierce fight to regain it.
So people don't think that I just went in and found all these. Well, the book is well researched, but when I'm trying to say this is a Gabrielism that came from real life, I ain't giving up no ground, not right here. So that's where that one comes from. Yes.
Absolutely. I love it. So you all can see the passion behind this project, behind this book. You all can see, like he said before, it's not a story he just read. It's not something that he just heard in passing. And as you just saw from the picture, it's something that he lived.
Yes.
And so this brings us to our final question. And as we begin to wrap up this interview in the next couple minutes, is that what do you wish for your readers to gain from this book?
I want everybody, when I say believe in yourself, don't think that I'm saying believe in yourself apart from God. But I want everybody to be that all they can be, that God designed them to be. Sometimes we live so short of what we were called to do. You look at me and you say, Gabriel, you're an African American. You have 2 doctorates. How did you do that? When I was coming up, I didn't even think I was smart. I didn't even think I'm smart now. I just exist. I do what I do. And when I do what I do, when I keep on doing it, I begin to start seeing the outcomes. Yes, I set goals and I set objectives, but there's a burning fire on the inside of me to say, what did God design you to be? I'm a bishop. That's where bishop, my nickname is, and this is Dr. Gomez nicknamed me Bishop Two Docs. I'm a bishop with 2 doctorate degrees. And then I want to be Bishop Two Docs and some more, because what else can I be in life? When I die, I want to be like a, 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 a prune that's all frizzled up and different. I want everything sucked out of me, because I want to give so much in my life that there's no more to give at the end. And it's time for me to die. I don't want to die undefeated. My wife tells me, everything you set your mind to do, you do it. I do it enthusiastically. You know what? I might start preaching now. I better let you come on back here, Lakeisha, because I'll go off. I'll go off.
I love it. I love it. Again, it's the passion that sets this book apart. It's the experience that sets this book apart. And I just love something that I gained from it is exactly what you said. I can essentially do anything, not apart from God.
Yes.
But I can do anything, and we all know from Christendom that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, and so that also translates to we can overcome all things. And a lot of you all who know me know that I say often that I'm an overcomer by birth. I was born to overcome. And so there's nothing that comes my way that didn't come past God first. So I know that I can overcome it, even adversity. And like I said, from the moment that he stepped foot on that track, it was destined for that interference to happen, and it was destined for him to come back in such a way that people probably still recall that day to this day. And so not just him and his wife who were there to witness it, but everybody else who was there, his coach, his teammates, and those people who are in our lives as well. And so in closing, what's next? I know that you just said you had back surgery. I know that you were working on a program. What's next? What do you have coming up? What can we go and check out and learn more about?
Well, Sister Lakeisha, I already have a title of a book in my mind. You know how they say old dogs can learn new tricks, or old dogs can't learn new tricks, or something like that. My book is from my experience. Not old dogs can learn new tricks, old dogs can do new tricks. And what I'm trying to say, see, I am a baby boomer. And when I worked on my last doctorate, they were either millennials or Gen Zers or Gen Xers. I was older than them. But you ask anybody, ask my teachers, Gabriel came out tops. I didn't come out by no, no, I don't know. Computers, I can do a computer. You can swap spit, I can swap spit with you. In other words, I don't have to learn it. I'm just applying what God put in me. Right. And so the next thing you want to see Gabriel doing is flying a spaceship to Mars. I'm going to end on that, Lakeisha.
Absolutely. Well, this has just been an amazing interview. I want again in our last couple minutes to encourage you to go to Amazon. You will have the next couple of days to go and purchase a copy of this book for $2.99, the ebook. I also encourage you to purchase a copy of the paperback as well. A lot of times you will get prompted to do both. So you'll have a copy on your phone, but I encourage you to purchase a copy of the physical project as well, because you're going to want to take notes, and you're going to want to highlight and underline, and whatever God downloads to you, you want to take notes as well. So please do go and purchase a copy. I will post the I will post the link again really quickly. And then, Dr. McCurtis, I want to give you a moment to share anything that you would like to share in closing as a word of encouragement to the viewers right now, to the readers who are going out and purchasing a copy of the book. Thank you to those who have purchased a copy while we were on this broadcast. Thank you to those who will watch the replay and purchase a copy. Thank you to all the supporters who have come alongside Dr. McCurtis in bringing this project to fruition, and who have supported him, his professors, everyone in this cohort who came alongside him. So, Dr. McCurtis, I will let you close this out with any words of encouragement for those who may find themselves in a bit of adversity right now. What would you say to them?
I would say money. A lot of people think money is the cure all. They think prestige is the cure all. I think determination. I think that grit. Notice when I'm that grit, that bulldog tenacity. When you have that desire, I believe it's the desire. And when you act on the desire, you can accomplish anything and overcome. And it's not the smarts. You can be the smartest man in the world and not move forward. But when you have that desire, that thing that causes you to get up in the morning, that thing that causes you to face turmoil and continue to move, you can accomplish anything. Like a man that I knew in my dad's church, he's dead now. He said, "You can do everything." So that's what it is. It's that determination, that grit, that bulldog tenacity that tells you it can be done. I can do it. Like an old bishop said, Bishop J.O. Patterson said, there was an old country lady, couldn't speak proper English. They said, "Mother, can we do it?" She said, "It are hard, but it can be did." Okay, Keisha, I'm going to end on there. They heard the bishop talking, it are hard, but it can be did.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I have enjoyed this time that we have had together, and I thank you for choosing the Vision to Fruition Publishing House to help you to bring this project to fruition. As God leads, I look forward to working with you on your next project. Um, we are going to close out tonight. Thank you all for who tuned in tonight, and thank you all again for who purchased this project. Coming from behind, the mindset of overcoming adversity. And I'll close by saying, you can come from behind, and you can overcome adversity with the right mindset and with the right preparation, with the right training. So be encouraged. Continue on your journey. Grab a copy of this book, and to help make some things applicable and practical in your life. And we will see you again during our next interview. Thank you so much. And we are done.
Amen.